Revelations chapter 15 verse 1. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up with the wrath of God. And I saw it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast and over his image and over his mark and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of God, and they sing the song of Moses, the servant of God, and the song of the Lamb, saying, Great and marvelous are thy works, Lord God Almighty. Just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. Who shall not fear thee, O Lord, and glorify thy name? For thou only art holy. For all nations shall come and worship before thee, for thy judgment are made manifest. And after that I looked, and behold, the temple of the tabernacle and the testimony in heaven was open. And the 7 angels came out of the temple, having the 7 plagues, clothed in pure and white linen, and having their breasts girdled with golden girdles. And one of the 4 beasts gave unto the 7 angels 7 golden vials, full of the wrath of God, who liveth forever and ever. And the temple was filled with smoke from the glory of God and from his power, and no man was able to enter into the temple till the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were fulfilled. You see, Revelation showing you and everyone that Satan, the demons and mankind that are against the Most High, Satan and his henchmen, cannot do anything without the Most High permission. So Most High allowed these plagues to come in. So we're almost there at the final fulfillment. We're almost there. We just noticed this plague just came out, the Ebola, yeah. That's the first plague that is going on control, that there seems to be no cure for. Okay, let's read Revelations 9, chapter 9, verse 17. And first I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issue fire and smoke and brimstone. By these 3 was the 3rd part of man killed, by the fire, and by the smoke, and by the brimstone, which issue out of their mouth. For their power is in their mouth, and in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. And the rest of them which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not of the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils, idols of gold or silver, brass and stone, and of wood, whether neither can hear, nor see, nor can hear, nor can see, nor hear, nor walk. Neither repent there of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts. This is telling you guys, these plagues are going to hit these people who are not repentant of their evil ways. This is why I made a video of exposing astrology is satanic and demonic. And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks stand before a higher of the earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceed out of their mouth and devour their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in his manner be killed. These have power to shut heaven, that it not rain in the days of their prophecy, and have power over water to turn them into blood, and smite the earth with all plagues, often as they will. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them. And their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. America is spiritually those countries, where also our Lord was crucified. Now the Most High Son, our brethren, the Messiah, was crucified in Israel. Now this is spiritually Israel too, America. And they of the people and the kindred and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to put in graves. That means the whole city, in a place that all this plague is going to take effect at, it's going to stink up because of dead bodies. Worms and maggots going to come out of these bodies. When these things happen, keep your animals indoors and wash your hands. Okay, let's read Revelations 18 verse 1. And after these things I saw another angel came down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen and become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of unclean and hatred birds. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchant of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. It says for all nations have drunk. So this means not only America, everywhere else that has ties with this country are going to feel this effect. So everybody needs to stop thinking just America, not just America. All nations going to go through some type of effect. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partaker of her sins, and that ye receive not her plagues. For her sin have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled her to her double, how much she hath glorified herself, and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her place come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judgeth her, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lamentate for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning.
Now, the latest on the Ebola outbreak in West Africa, which is moving faster than efforts to contain it. The disease has struck hard in 3 countries, Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone, which is the epicenter. A Liberian government official who had flown to Nigeria's largest city, Lagos, died of the disease in a hospital there. 2 American aid workers infected in Liberia, 33-year-old Kent Brantley and 59-year-old Nancy Wrightball, will be sent home for care at Emory University Hospital in Atlanta. It is the first time any Ebola patient has been sent back to the U.S. for treatment. This afternoon, Dr. Bruce Ribner of Emory said there was no cause for alarm among the public.
From the time the air ambulance arrives in the metropolitan Atlanta area, up to including being hospitalized at Emory University Hospital, we have taken every precaution that we know and that our colleagues at the CDC know to ensure that there is no spread of this virus pathogen.
Well, I'm going to ask you a little bit more about that judgment, because one of your colleagues is being quoted by the Associated Press as saying it's totally out of control. That's a terrifying remark.
It is. I would say rather that it is not yet under control. We managed to control some of the earlier satellite outbreaks. We've had new ones. These are going to get brought on.
Well, I'm going to ask you a little bit more about that judgment, because one of your colleagues is being quoted by the Associated Press as saying it's totally out of control. That's a terrifying remark.
It is. I would say rather that it is not yet under control.
Warned Americans not to travel to the affected countries unless necessary. Dr. Tom Frieden is the director of the CDC. He joins me now. So first off, what can you tell people to assure them that this disease will not spread to Atlanta or other parts of the United States as we bring these patients back?
Well, first off, it's really important to understand how Ebola spreads and how it's spreading in Africa. The outbreak there is the worst we've ever seen. But Ebola doesn't spread from people who don't have symptoms. So if you have contact with someone who is exposed but not sick, you can't get it. And second, Ebola isn't spread by casual contact. It's not spread through the air. It's spread through body fluids. That's
On the other hand, you need really close contact to become infected. So just being on the bus with someone with Ebola, that's not a problem. It's also not aerogenic, so it's not transmitted through droplets and so on.
Why is it larger this time?
Well, the thing that's different this time is the mobility of the people involved. Ebola is spread through close social contacts, which means that if it stays within a geographically limited area, the number of people that you come into contact with that will attend your funeral or take care of you is reasonably small. These people move about a lot, so that when they become exposed to Ebola in one location and then move 50, 100, 150, 600 kilometers somewhere else, and then become sick there, then we have to deal with a whole new satellite outbreak over there.
Alright guys, I found this wonderful news article online that would prove that Ebola does spread on any type of contact. Even if you're not close to the person, it still could go on to you. This is an airborne virus. I can prove to you that. I'm going to give you the link to this article below in the description box. Ebola, what you're not being told. Update August 13th. There is something very, very important that the corporate media and public health officials are not telling you regarding the Ebola outbreak in West Africa. The information I'm about to present here is frightening. This is really no way around that. However, I request that you do your best to maintain a calm state of mind. Right now, West Africa, the worst outbreak in history, is in full swing and is jumping borders at an alarming rate. Already, it has spread to 4 countries. So this thing has spread to 4 countries. That is pretty amazing for the news to say it's under control. This is not under control. Okay. Let's continue. Alright. It says right here. I'm going to mention the 4 countries. It's Guinea, Libya, Syria, and Leon, I think that's how you pronounce it, and now Nigeria. The latest jump into Nigeria is particularly serious since the affected individual carried the virus by plane to Lagos, Nigeria, a city with a population of over 21 million. Doctors Without Borders has referred to the outbreak as out of control. So they're trying to kill over 21 million then. That's a lot of people. Remember, the New World Order has in the Stonehenge, they want to eliminate a lot of the populations. Okay. Next one, to make matters worse, there is something very, very important that the corporate media and public health officials are not telling you regarding this crisis. You notice if you read virtually any mainstream article on the topic, that they make a point of insisting that Ebola is only transmitted by physical contact with bodily fluids. This is not true at all. A study conducted in 2012 showed that Ebola was able to travel between pigs and monkeys that were in a separate cage and were never placed in direct contact. Okay. Though the method of transmission in study was not officially determined, one of the scientists involved, Dr. Gary Kohlberger from the National Microbiology Laboratory at the Public Health Agency of Canada, told BBC News that he believed that the infection was spread through large droplets that were suspended in the air. What we suspect is happening in large droplets that can stay in the air, but not long. They don't go far, he explained, but they can be absorbed in the airway, and this is how the infection starts. And this is what we think, because we saw a lot of evidence in the lungs of the non-human primate that the virus got in the airway. So when they sent these 2 American people back, imagine they got it in their lungs, and people sit right next to them and pass it on. Man, my goodness. Alright. Let's get on here. Get to the main point. Update. Someone pointed out that in the medical term, if the virus is transferred through tiny droplets in the air, this would technically not be called an airborne virus. Airborne in medical terms would mean that the virus has the ability to stay alive without any liquid carrier. On one hand, this is a question of a cinematic, and the point is well taken. But keep in mind that the only study did not officially determine how the virus travels through the air. It's merely established that it does travel through the air. Dr. Kobunger hypothesis regarding the droplets of the liquid is just that, a hypothesis for the average person. However, what needs to be understand is very simple. If you're in a room with someone infected with Ebola, you are not safe, even if you never touched them or their bodily fluids. And this is not... Hold on, my camera got out of focus. Damn, man. Yeah. And this is not what you are being told by the mainstream media. Essentially, I am using the word airborne as a lay term. So that means this is airborne. If somebody has it, you need to get the hell out of it as fast as possible, out of the house. This thing is a plague. Now, at the end of the video, I'm going to reveal to you how to protect yourself from this plague, and if you get it, how to reverse it and how to heal yourself of this plague. I don't want to use the word cure, because, you know, the whole doctor thing. I'm going to show you how to heal yourself from this plague and protect yourself. Very simple. Alright?
To be alarmist, but I'm wondering how much alarm is appropriate. Some people are describing this as the worst outbreak ever.
Well, it's certainly the largest. Extension geographically has been impressive, and it's been going on for about 3 months now, which is certainly longer than we would have expected, and it will probably continue for a while. So this will be the largest outbreak on record.
Its own discoverer calls it a spectacular virus, one of the most lethal, and now out of control in West Africa, according to Médecins Sans Frontières, where the deadliest outbreak on record is spreading like wildfire. And it is gruesome. Most of those who get it will die. According to Médecins Sans Frontières, where the deadliest outbreak on record is spreading like wildfire. And it is gruesome. Most of those who get it will die. Just today, the Red Cross was forced to suspend its operations in southeast Guinea, ground zero for the current outbreak, when a group of armed attackers threatened its health workers there. Ebola was first identified almost 40 years ago, and my guest tonight, Professor Peter Piot. Ebola was first identified almost 40 years ago, and my guest tonight, Professor Peter Piot.
Alright guys, I'm going to show you the secret message of the word oblivion. Oblivion. The state of being unaware or unconscious of what is happening. Unconscious, insensible, stupefaction, senselessness. These people are calling you stupid in their movie titles. If you don't look in their movies, on their cartoons, or what they're putting out there, then you guys are oblivion. You guys are stupid. Y'all don't know nothing. So these are the secret titles they're telling you. They're putting things in front of your face. If you're unconscious, you're not aware, you're not going to know. I'm going to reveal to you all how to prevent and heal yourself of any plagues with the Bible scriptures. Okay? Let's open up the Bible to John chapter 14 verse 9. Jesus said unto him, Have I been so long time with you, and yet hast thou not known me, Philip? He that hath seen me hath seen the Father. And how sayest thou then, Show us the Father? Believe thou not that I am in the Father, and the Father in me? The words that I speak unto you, I speak not of myself, but the Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. Believe me that I am in the Father, and the Father in me. Or else, believe me for the very works' sake. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do, he shall do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. And whatsoever ye shall ask in my name, that will I do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If ye shall ask anything in my name, I will do it. If ye love me, keep my commandments. Now, the Most High sent his Son down to teach us his ways. The Most High Son is telling us to keep his commandments. Now, we just read John chapter 14 verse 15. Remember, it states, if ye love me, keep my commandments. Now, if you click your blueletterbible.com, click it on the internet, the word commandments, for that passage I just give you, you will end up in Greek 1785. And for that word commandments, it will say ethically use of the commandments. plurals, commandments in the Mosaic law. So that's the 10 commandments and all the commandments that Moses gave the people in the wilderness. It shows you that Christ telling you to honor it. I don't know why these preachers keep saying no, you have to honor it. Remember, if you honor the 10 commandments, you love the Father. And if you have the Father in you, then you have the Son. If you have the Son in you, then you have the Father in you. So if you have both inside of you, how can you get sick? You understand what I'm saying? Okay, let's move on. Now let's read Mark chapter 6 verse 1. And he went out from thence and came into his own country, and his disciples followed him. And when the Sabbath day was come, he began to teach in the synagogue. So Christ taught in the synagogue when it was Sabbath day. And many hearing him were astonished, saying, From whence hath this man these things? And what wisdom is this which is given unto him, that even such mighty works are wrought by his hands? Is not this the carpenter, the son of Mary, the brother of James and Joseph, and of Judah and Simon? Are not his sisters here with us? And they were offended at him. This also proves Christ has sisters. But Jesus said unto them, a prophet is not without honor, but in his own country, and amongst his own kins, and in his own house. So Christ taught on the Sabbath. This proves you keep the Sabbath. Even more further, go to Matthew 24:20. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. Okay, I want you to go to the Matthew 24:20. And that word you see Sabbath, I want you to look up that word in concordance. The number will be Greek 4521. It will mean 7 days, a week. Okay, let's read Matthew chapter 12 verse 10. And behold, there was a man which had his hand withered, and they asked him, saying, Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath days? That they might accuse him. And he said unto them, What man shall there be amongst you that shall have one sheep, and if it fall into a pit on the Sabbath day, will he not lay hold on it and lift it out? Christ was trying to tell them you can do good deeds on the Sabbath day. Let's continue on to verse 12. How much then is a man better than a sheep? Wherefore is it lawful to do well on the Sabbath days? There saith he to the man, Stretch forth thy hand. And he stretched it forth, and it was restored whole, like as the others. Christ was saying, the Messiah was saying, it's okay to heal and do good on the Sabbath. Okay, now I'm going to read the last verse of the scripture. This is going to prove to you, just like the wind and the water, they have their own spirit, just like the disease and plague have their own spirits. Remember, when Christ stopped the wind from destroying the boat, he told hold its peace. All those things are spirits. Okay, let's read Luke chapter 7 verse 21. And in that same hour he cured many of their infirmities and plagues and of evil spirits, and unto many that were blind he gave sight. So all these plague and diseases are spirits of their own. They only could do what the Most High tells them what to do. Then Jesus answered, said unto them, Go your way, and tell John what things ye have seen and heard, how that the blind see and the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are rise. To the poor the gospel is preached. And blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me. Meaning that only the Messiah, through the Father, with the Holy Spirit, can heal you of all plagues. So this is the antidote for you guys to prevent yourself from getting all types of plague and Ebola, and to heal yourself from it. This Ebola thing, I think this is more on the spiritual warfare type of power. I believe you have to do this with only the Messiah help. It's stated in Luke chapter 7 verse 21 to verse 23 that only the Messiah, with the Father's power, he cured people of plagues. So plagues can only be cured by the Son with the Father and the Holy Spirit, not no healthy diet. Now that you know the truth of how to protect yourself and heal yourself of any plague, teach your kids this and teach your loved one these secrets about the Most High commandments. Remember this: sun gazing, astrology, witchcraft, voodoo will not protect you or cure you or heal you from these type of plagues. It would just make things worse. Remember to keep your guard up. For these people that work for the government, they will put other type of news on TV to keep your mind away from the Ebola. So when you're walking, you don't know what will hit you. Pop! You am dead in the streets. And don't believe these scientists claim to have been healed of this Ebola. Those are agents that want you to trust them to give you some type of vaccine that has the Ebola to kill you out. There ain't no man on this earth gonna heal that. Only the Father can. That's all I want to say. Shalom.